Forever. Dog.
Oh, yes. This is the Georgia Movie Dog, and you better believe that I'm still dressed like Bernie Lomax from Weekend at Bernie's, baby. What'd you think? I was just going to take this off after 1 week? This is not cosplay, my friends. This is not a one weekend dalliance. If they didn't want me to dress like Weekend at Bernie's, they shouldn't have made Weekend at Bernie's so good, okay? This is Movies, baby. We got a hell of a show for you. Roll the theme song!
The backbone of this country is the independent film critic. The power of movies must be protected. The best thing about movies is the feeling they give. It's a feeling I want to feel every day. Movies, baby! Movies, baby! Movies, baby! Movies, baby!
I love it, Rackball.
Welcome to Movies, baby. This is Brett Boehm, a.k.a. the Georgia Movie Dog. Go Dogs. I'm coming to you live from the San Fernando Valley. The Philly Movie Freak is back this week. I know he is not currently sitting beside me, but he is back. I promise you he's back. He'll join us in just a bit to talk Black Phone 2. I also saw The Mastermind, and It Was Just an Accident. I cannot wait to talk about both of those movies. But first, you know how we do it. Show me the money. And by the money, I mean the weekend box office returns, baby. Here we go. Okay, Blumhouse. Okay, Signs of Life from Blumhouse Productions. As we discussed last episode, the big headline that we're tracking this week at the box office is the performance of Black Phone 2 as an indicator of whether or not Blumhouse Productions still has a pulse left. And I've said it once, I'll say it 100 times. I love Blumhouse Productions. I frickin' love those guys over there, okay? The little horror studio that could, the house of high concept, low budget breakout hits like Insidious. And what do they got? The Purge. Oh, I love The Purge. Love The Purge. Best, it's either Final Destination or The Purge. Best horror franchise to exist exclusively in the 21st century. I think it's either Final Destination or The Purge. I mean, what else would be in there? Those are my two favorites at the very least, unless I'm missing something, which I'm sure that I am. They've also made, what else? Megan, Happy Death Day, Get Out, heard of it? Creep, I love Creep. Lords of Salem, Rob Zombie's best movie. Jason Blum and the team over at Blumhouse have been doing the Lord's work for the last 20 years, and I will always root for them. Movies Baby is always rooting for Blumhouse. But we're also honest, and we're honest with the people that we love. And it has to be said that Blumhouse has fallen on hard times lately, hard times. Their last big box office hit was Five Nights at Freddy's. That was back in October 2023, 2 years ago. And their last good movie, at least in my opinion, was, I'm looking at the list now, I guess it was the first Megan. That's January 2023. That's even farther back. I know Joe, the Philly Movie Freak, is a fan of Exorcist Believer, but that's still 2023. So it's been 2 years since either a hit or a good movie for Blumhouse. And in the meantime, oh boy, it's been a lot of stinkers. The second Megan, Drop, The Woman in the Yard, Wolfman Afraid, Imaginary Night Swim, the list goes on. Now, they do have Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the sequel, coming out in December of this year. And that presumably will be a big box office win for them. But Blumhouse's whole business model is about brand identity. It's not about one specific project or another. It's about knowing that when you see that Blumhouse logo on a movie, you know what you're in for. You're in for a good old horror movie, baby. You're in for a great night at the movies. They do not want to be the Five Nights at Freddy's studio. That is not their thing. They want to be Blumhouse. Blumhouse with a capital B. And yes, Black Phone 2 is a sequel, but it's still a very important movie for Blumhouse in this regard. How many times am I going to say Blumhouse this episode? They really need Black Phone 2 to hit to maintain their identity, to maintain their purpose, their reason for being. So, did Black Phone 2 hit? Well, you're seeing the numbers right there. The answer is yeah. Yeah, it hit. It hit pretty good. That's pretty good. Definitely for 2025 standards, that's pretty good. 26.5 million domestic, another 15.5 internationally for a worldwide opening weekend of $42 million. Yeah, that's good. That's good. For a horror movie, for a relatively low-budget horror movie, that's good. It's a bigger opening than the first Black Phone, which was good enough to get a sequel, so that's good news. And it's the biggest Blumhouse box office opening since Five Nights at Freddy's. So that's 2 years. Their biggest box office opening in 2 years. The tiniest asterisk on this is that it really did not have any competition. We see a huge drop for Tron Ares there in week 2. Good Fortune, the Aziz Ansari movie. Bad news for Aziz. That was in a run of bad news. The latest bad news for Aziz is that Lionsgate was distributing, which means that this thing was DOA. Maybe David Ellison will buy Lionsgate. Who knows? But the point is, Black Phone 2 really didn't have a whole lot of competition here. The first Black Phone was up against a Jurassic Park movie and Top Gun Maverick and Elvis, I think. So a little bit of an asterisk on this, but you know what? Let's take that asterisk off. This is good news. This is good news for Blumhouse. This is good news. This is good news also for horror, because with this opening, with this Black Phone 2 opening, horror at the box office in 2025 has now reached a record level of $1.7 billion in 2025. $1.7 billion. I know Sinners was a big chunk of that. Conjuring Last Rites was a big chunk of that. Final Destination Bloodline's a big chunk of that. So horror movies this year grossed $1.7 billion. That's the most that horror movies have ever grossed in a year, beating out the previous high from 2017, pre-COVID. So maybe the old movies have some life left, at least horror movies, which is good news for me. So congrats to Jason Blum. Congrats to Ethan Hawke as the Grabber. Congrats to the Black Phone. Congrats to the Black Phone, the actual Black Phone. You did it, baby. And they also deserve credit for a great marketing campaign. You know, the anti-Lionsgate, they really put their whole ass into their marketing campaigns. They milked that creepy little grabber mask for all it was worth. They had Ethan Hawke tripping his balls off on the red carpet interviews, whatever that was. I love Ethan Hawke. Oh, you like the movie? Cool. I'm the grabber. I grabbed the kids in the movie. Cool. Okay, you knew that. Cool. I love playing the grabber, man. I love it. It's just cinema, baby. There's no bad movies. I love playing the grabber. I'm dead in this one. Now, what about the movie itself? What about Black Phone 2, the movie? Is it good? Is it worth your time? I've got thoughts on this, but I can't do this one alone. I can't do this one without my guy, my right-hand man, the Philly movie freak. He's got a freaking PhD in horror movies. I can't do this without him. I can't review Black Phone 2 without the freak. And good news for me, good news for you, he's back, baby. It's the big review. Let's do the big review. We're now calling it the big review. Whatever the movie is of the week, when we review it, I'm calling it the big review. It's the big review with the Dawg and the Freak, Black Phone 2 edition. Let's do this, baby. Big review time! Well, look who's back in town, baby. And just in time to talk about the grabber.
I'm back.
It's the Philly movie freak.
I'm back. I couldn't miss Black Phone 2.
What happened? You just die?
Yeah, I know. Look,
his voice was fine before we started recording. I don't know what happened.
I got scared of the grabber. We have the grabber up
grabber's terrifying.
Up on the old screen there.
And not just on the screen, Joe. if you notice, I don't know if I'm wearing. I don't even know if this is the same outfit I'm wearing in the main episode. I also don't know how to orient myself. See that right there?
Yeah, that's the grabber pin you got
Is this
right
a
there.
normal way to stand and show a pin off?
Yep, Brett's got a pin right there. It's of the grabber with his snow-covered mask from Black Phone
There,
2.
now I'm not blocking.
From Black Phone 2. Brett, where'd you get that?
Well, I got it at AMC. They handed it to me. When I showed my ticket for Black Phone 2. It's a very fun. I love when they give you a little piece of memorabilia.
Of course.
I've got so much memorabilia from movies I hated.
Yeah.
Just sitting in a pile on my
Absolutely.
desk.
Kinds of Kindness
I got
keychain.
No, Kinds of Kindness. What wasn't it like a? It was a keychain and like an old like a deodorizer for your car.
Oh, right,
you know,
right,
one of
right. Air
those
freshener.
Air freshener for your car.
Kinds
yes.
of Kindness air freshener.
So I have a Kinds of Kindness air freshener.
Cool.
I have a grabber pin now.
Yeah.
I
have like
love it.
I have
love it.
architectural plans of Laszlo Toth's library from the Vista A24 screening of The Brutalist. I got so much random shit.
I love it, AMC.
Yeah.
Keep doing the memorabilia, the free memorabilia with a ticket purchase. It is a uniquely. There is something ever so humiliating or sad though about going to see as a and look. I'm fine with it. It's not like crushing or debilitating, but there is a moment when you're a 42-year-old man and you're going to see the Black Phone 2 at like 2:00 on a Thursday. And then, the young ticket taker hands you like a pin, a grabber pin.
Can I have two?
Can I have two, please?
Please.
One for my son.
Lie. Like you have a son, but you're not
Can
gonna
I have
give it
one
to
for the
him?
kid in my basement, please?
And on that note, Black Phone 2.
Black Phone 2. All right. So Black Phone 2 is coming to us from Blumhouse Productions, who, as we've talked about ad nauseum, we are always rooting for Jason Blum and the crew over there. Low budget, high concept. They brought horror back in a big way over the last decade or so. Let's talk about this movie. This is, of course, a sequel to 2021's The Black Phone. We got the same creative team back here, directed by Scott Derrickson from a script he co-wrote with Robert Cargill.
Yes.
C. Robert Cargill.
That's correct.
And produced by Jason Blum. We also got a lot of the original cast back here. Ethan Hawke, of course, as the grabber. The grabber. I almost said the eponymous grabber, but this movie's called The Black Phone. He does not play the phone. He plays the grabber.
Right.
We got Mason. I'm going to pronounce it the British way. Thames. His last name is like the river. Mason Thames. And this kid is all over the freaking place this year.
That little boy that's big now?
Dude.
The little
this
boy.
guy.
Okay, so
Mason Thames.
this
Can we
guy
talk about this guy?
A couple years ago, this guy was small.
Yes.
A couple years ago, Mason Thames was a little boy in Black Phone.
Yeah.
Now it's Black Phone 2.
Now he's got a jawline and you can't get rid of him. He's everywhere.
Wearing a T-shirt, so I don't know this for a fact.
Yeah.
He looked ripped up.
Yeah.
This little kid was beating the shit out of another kid. Mason Thames is big now.
He was in. Well, here's what he's been in this year.
Okay.
He was in. He's in Black Phone 2. He was the kid in How to Train Your Dragon live action. One of the biggest movies of the year.
Okay.
And then he is about to be in this like sad rom-com that's coming out in a bit. Yeah. It's like it looks like a what's the movie that caused all the problems? It Ends With Us. There's like an It Ends With Us-esque movie that's come out with Dave Franco and Allison Williams that he's in. He's in that. So this kid is all over the place.
He's next up.
He's next up.
He's like a Lordy in 3 years from now.
Oh boy.
No, for real. Mason
We're
Thames.
Gonna need. I don't know.
Mason Thames going right up to the top. But he's terrible at acting, though. Is the
that's
only
the thing.
thing.
He's
'Cause
not
in Black
good-
Phone 2,
yes, he's not a good actor.
He ain't no good in
He's
Black
not a
Phone
good
2.
actor. That's why.
But also, are you good? Can you be good at acting when you're not given a single line that has any goodness in it, or any shot that makes you look good, or anything? Like,
you know,
he's in a bad movie.
Here's the thing. The answer to that, as Greta Lee taught us last week in Tron Ares, is yes. You can still be a good actor.
That's true. Never mind.
Greta Lee had even worse dialogue in Tron Ares.
Never mind. There's lots of good acting,
and she made it. She did her best with it. It's like, here's what I'll say. It was. I don't know if you could call it a good performance because the writing was so bad, but you could still see a good actor in there.
Philip Seymour Hoffman would have been a lot better in Black Phone 2
had
he been cast
as the kid.
No, he would have been better.
If Philip Seymour Hoffman had to beat the shit out of a couple 16-year-olds
and then kill the grabber again.
No,
but look, I don't want to just throw
spoiler.
Sorry, I don't want to throw
it's not a spoiler.
Mason.
It's a horror movie.
No, all right. So what else we got?
Okay,
here?
so let me give you a couple more.
He's big now.
Yeah. So Mason Thames is big now. If you haven't heard the name, you know the face. Madeline McGraw And then Jeremy Davies, our guy Jeremy Davies, coming back as the dad. We have to talk about this character.
In part one, Jeremy Davies is a hyper abusive father.
There's a very disturbing scene of domestic abuse,
radical domestic abuse, like for a Blumhouse movie. I don't know. There's it's so intense.
Yeah.
In this one though, he's comedic relief.
He's the comic relief.
Daddy's
drinking seltzer now,
San Pellegrinos, and he's like being good. He watches a Bush commercial, but he doesn't even reach for a Bush. He just kind of goes.
He's off the sauce. He's not beating the kids anymore. And now he's just here for the gags. There's a moment near the end of Black Phone 2 when one of the kids, because I'm like, the kids are still with the dad? Like at some point, Child Services should have taken these kids away from this dad.
Or like Mason's so big now, can't he go away?
He like beat the shit out of dad? It's Jeremy Davies. You can beat the shit out of Jeremy Davies.
There was an implication that like physically,
yeah,
they're even.
Well, because there is a reference at some point. The kid Mason Thames references the fact that Jeremy Davies used to beat his kids. And Jeremy Davies in the movie literally goes, "Hey, come on!
Oh, what you're gonna bring? Let bygones be bygones.
I haven't done that for months.
For goodness sake! I'm worse than the grabber.
Can I get some credit for drinking seltzer now? All I do is drink seltzer, and I haven't touched you in months. Okay, give a guy a break."
My wife didn't kill herself.
My wife was killed by the grabber. I just found that out.
Spoiler alert for Black Phone 2.
None of these are. We are going to gleefully spoil Black Phone 2 for you.
So you really didn't like it?
We'll talk about that. Let me give you a little bit more. I'm still in my preamble.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm still in my preamble.
Go.
Now, the first Black Phone was based on a Joe Hill short story. And you might not know it from his last name, but Joe Hill is the son of Stephen King, famous horror writer. Everybody knows this. Joe Hill wrote a bunch of short stories. This was one of the short stories in a short story collection. And it's basically the plot of the first Black Phone, the short story. The grabber is this creepy child murderer. He wears a creepy mask. I don't know if the mask is in the story.
I never read the story.
That's a good question. I don't know. And he keeps kids locked in his basement before he kills them. But then there's a black phone in the basement. And then his previous child victims, their spirits can communicate with you through the phone, or they can communicate with some people through the phone, and then they tell you how to evade the grabber. Is the plot of Black Phone 1. So what's the plot of Black Phone 2 then? What are they going to do? Where are they going to go from here? The grabber's dead. Everyone's living happy now. What could possibly happen? Well, the grabber is dead, but his spirit lives on, and his spirit is now haunting these two kids, one of whom is touched with a sort of sixth sense or something like that. They can speak to the dead, communicate with the dead. They have foresight of the future. This is the girl. This is the sister. And so the grabber is haunting these kids sort of in the spirit world through their dreams. And then there's also this Christian camp way up in the Rocky Mountains that's snowed in, and that's where the grabber got his start. So this is, in a way, sort of a prequel, sort of an investigation of the grabber's origins at this snowed-in Christian camp up in the Rocky Mountains. And they got to go up there, and they have to find the bodies of the grabber's original victims in order to stop him from haunting them, is basically the plot of the movie.
Yeah. I think so, but also
Okay.
they want to go follow what their mom has, like the young girl can commune with her dead mother.
There's also a dead mother who's also had sixth sense or something.
Yes.
Who could speak with
She
the
had
spirit
the
world.
dream
Yes.
spirit world thing.
Now, we are sort of, in our attempts to summarize Black Phone 2 and summarize Black Phone 1, we are getting at, for me, what is one of the main issues of the Black Phone franchise. And I want to talk about this because your preconceptions going into a sequel matter. You know, you're bringing preconceptions into a sequel. What can I expect? Is this just going to be another adventure of the week, or did I need to know things from the first one? What are my expectations? And my problem with the first Black Phone movie, I know it was a big success. That's why we're getting a sequel. But my problem with it was just one of those one thing after another horror movies, throwing so much shit at the wall just to see what sticks movie. Here's everything that's going on in the first Black Phone. First of all, it's period. We're in the 70s, right? We're in the 1970s, which I like. It's like Dazed and Confused sort of 70s. And I like that I like how violent the kids are with each other. I find that weirdly weird. Like I find it was a fun risk to take. When these kids get in like schoolyard fights in Black Phone, it's like you're in fucking Casino. It's like you're in Goodfellas. These kids beat the shit out of each other. They are caving each other's heads in on the playground. These kids do not mess around. They are, and in the first Black Phone, they're like in middle school.
Yeah.
They're in middle school. And there's one kid in particular that's like really good at fighting, and everyone's scared of him. I kind of like that. I'd never seen that before. Just like a middle school fight filmed with the violence of a Scorsese fight. It was that's incredible. So we got 1970s, we got kids who are violent with each other. Then we have the grabber. The grabber is this child serial killer. He snatches kids up. But even the grabber is all over the place. He drives around in a car that says like abracadabra magician on the side of it, right? And he wears like a big black top hat.
Yep.
And he has sort of white face paint.
Yep.
And then he carries around these black balloons.
Yeah.
And then he grabs you and puts you in the van and takes you to the basement.
He looks guilty.
Yes.
He looks like he's going to kidnap your kid.
He's not hiding in plain sight.
No, he's not.
No. And then you brought up a good point about the black balloons, because when he grabs, he uses the black balloons almost as sort of cover.
He like covers you with the black balloon like a cape.
Yes.
But then he lets go of the black balloons
as he puts you in the van, because he has to get the kid in the van.
Right.
And then
the balloons go up.
You made a great point that he's essentially like shooting a flare off to tell people where he is whenever he captures a kid.
Oh, look, a kid's been taken. There's the balloons.
Yeah. You would think that any observant police or guardian figure would just be looking for black
balloons. It's like 1978.
So
like
they're all drunk and they're worse than the grabber.
Okay.
So that's all of the grabber's like specifics. And then he has a basement. Then he has like 8 different masks, and he wears different versions of the masks. And then you have spirits. It's a ghost story too. So you have the ghosts of the dead kids, and then you have like the Sixth Sense kid going on. So there's people that can speak with the dead. You have all that going on. And then there's like a guy who's like really into conspiracy theories, and he's like trying to track down the mystery. Remember him?
Vince D'Onofrio?
Well, it looks like,
isn't it look just like Vince D'Onofrio? Like the
guy
in the
guy
computer?
from The Wire. It's the guy from The Wire. It's the guy from the Baltimore.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of a different.
I almost said
Sinister.
the Baltimore season of The Wire. It's the guy from the shipping season of The Wire.
All right, yeah.
And he was in Sinister too. He was the police officer in Sinister, right? So that guy is like into conspiracy. So you have like a conspiracy theory guy, and you have ghosts, and you have spirits, and you have a serial killer, and you have a creepy basement. It is like horror trope after horror trope after horror trope after horror trope thrown at you. And for me, it never really cohered into a singular experience. It never cohered into a movie. It just felt like a lot of tropes sort of piled on top of each other. Whereas I felt like somewhere deep inside those tropes was a movie I might have liked if it could have honed in a little bit more. Like, I don't mind The Grabber. I like Ethan Hawke as an actor.
Me too.
Like, this is cool. Like, The Grabber, he's a child serial killer and you have to outsmart him. That's cool. But what's with all the other stuff? I don't know if I needed all the other stuff. What was your experience with Black Phone coming into Black Phone 2? What were your expectations like?
Well, I didn't like Black Phone 1 at all. I didn't like it for any of the reasons you said. I don't really like any Scott Derrickson movies at all.
What has he directed?
So Scott Derrickson, the director of this movie, is a American horror director. He's from Colorado, grew up, very Christian, and he made movies. His first one was Exorcism of Emily Rose, where Christianity and modernity go on trial, and that's almost like his best movie. From there, he goes on to work with Ethan Hawke and Jason Blum on Sinister,
right?
With Robert Cargill. So Cargill was a like blog era movie reviewer who was hanging out one day with Derrickson, and they had this idea, or
huge
Blum or something.
Huge for him. Huge. He never saw himself here.
Or Blum like loved his idea, or Derrickson loved the idea so much. We got to make Sinister tomorrow before somebody else makes it. Sinister has a good, solid first half, but in the second half of Sinister, Derrickson gets up to his one trick, which is the liminal purgatory in which the memories of dead kids from the
Ghost
80s
kids.
operate.
Yeah,
that's all he does is fucking ghost kids.
kids.
Emily and okay, so then there's Sinister.
Black Phone is weirdly it's so much in the template of Sinister, and I never even thought of that.
Dude, listen,
even to the point of all like the VHS sort of textured sort of cutaways and
Derrickson,
stuff.
He is a nostalgia merchant.
Yeah.
But he is framing like all of his movies are about the loss of childhood and how childhood was taken away from him. And the same side of that coin, all of his films are like a paean to his childhood. In Black Phone 2, we get almost like beyond cringe, like incessant 80s lingo.
Yeah.
As like
it's rough stuff. Yeah.
Very rough.
70s, 80s. Yeah.
This insistence on a grainy imagery, whether it's in Sinister, Emily Rose, Black Phone 2, to just like the aesthetics, the broad aesthetics of nostalgia for the fucking piggies. So he's always trading in these broad tropes. He's a nostalgia merchant. His images
it's a bag
are,
of tricks.
He's a bag of tricks.
He directs with a bag of tricks, but it doesn't amount to a whole lot.
They never amount to a whole lot, and
Yeah.
it's because his movies, they are scary on paper, but they're not scary in practice.
That's a great point.
They are risk averse, and they cap their scariness. He is a risk averse guy. What is the only thing in this entire country that we are all like scared of and obsessed with as one unified block? The abduction of and slavery of children.
This should have been a slam
It's
dunk.
like the
This
only
should have been a
thing that we
slam
all
dunk.
fear
Yeah.
is that people are coming to take your children and put them on an island and
Yeah.
make them do unspeakable things. That's the scariest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Why is Black Phone doesn't even begin to? Who cares? Like, he's gonna get out of there just fine, and the dead kids will help him. And in Black Phone too, it's like the only thing that we are scared of right now is powerful creeps abducting our children. These movies are devoid of scares because there's no risk in them. And instead of dragging you like through hell, he's like, here's a picture of hell. Here's the top of hell. Here's the middle of hell. Here's the bottom of hell. And look, there's fire, so you know it's hell. It's really, really rough stuff I find with this guy.
Yeah.
He directed the Doctor Strange movie, and I'm not going to hold that against him. Like,
Get your money.
He did his Marvel, and that's
Yeah.
cool. But
Yeah.
like, I guess I mention it because he's a safe bet, and I'm sure Marvel
Yeah.
was happy to hire him.
Yeah. I want to hit on that because that is my one, and it took me a while in Black Phone 2 to realize like what's missing here, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not scared is what's missing here.
At 22,
there's no, and what I mean is like there are jump scares and you go whoa, but there's no like dread, there's no fear.
Zero.
You are not. At no point was I kind of because I still look. I watch a lot of horror movies when I like, and I watch horror movies not because I'm like. They don't scare me. I watch 100. I watch them because they scare
of
me.
course.
That's the fun part of them.
Duh.
Never at any point in Black Phone 2 am I kind of going like this because I'm so scared. Never. There's no sense of dread. There's no sense of real terror. And there should be. Look at this fucking guy. Look at this fucking creepy creep here, the grabber.
This movie got a sequel because of this mask design.
The mask design
I'm
is
dead serious.
You're 100%
And the
right.
reason I was
Yeah.
excited to see this movie was
Yeah.
the mask was in the snow, and I love a snow movie.
Yes,
So I was
yeah.
like, hey, snow movie.
Yeah.
Oh, grabber
You
in the
love a
snow.
snow movie. Hot
Maybe
Dog the movie?
And
You're a
then
big
I was
fan of
talking
snow
to our
movies. Better Off Dead?
producer Gabe on the. I'm going to see Black Phone 2 tonight.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not looking forward to it. I hate Scott Derrickson, and he was like, yeah, but did you hear the grabber's Freddy now? I was like, you're kidding. The grabber's Freddy now.
Grabber's essentially Freddy.
And
He haunts your dreams.
He haunts your dreams, and then
Yeah.
he hurts you in real life.
Yeah.
That's what Freddy does,
Yeah.
which is fine, except that Freddy's good, and this movies are not.
All of this
scary.
would be fine. All of this sort of like, because I don't mind a sort of like jukebox horror movie that is just horror tropes after horror tropes. I mean, that's almost what every horror movie is. It's a
There's
very
there's
trope-based
no love here, bro.
genre. But the problem with Black Phone and Black Phone 2 is that it's constantly sort of implying that it's more than just a horror movie. There's more. There's like we're looking at trauma and we're
Yes.
looking at this and there's the like the
Christian-
movie
like,
is
they're at a Christian camp,
Yeah.
as if Christianity or morality is going to have any actual impact on like the end of the story,
Yeah.
instead of just sort of like floating around it as like a sophisticated ephemera, like for the dummies to like think something's happening.
That's
right
it.
now.
The movie
It's
does
so
not
stupid.
understand how. If the movie would just understand how dumb it is, it would be so much better.
Be
I think
me-
is my point.
Because
Yes.
what's our favorite
Yeah.
part of the movie? Spoiler alert.
Yes.
At the end,
This is so good.
it takes the finale. Who cares why? They don't care.
They're on a frozen lake.
They're on a frozen lake.
There's bodies underneath. They're
And
trying
the
to get to.
grabber is on ice skates with like an axe, and he's like coming out of the mist. And then you cut to the ice skates, and he's not like wearing a pair of ice skates. His bones and flesh have made him into a skate. And the grabber's like,
It's
now
great.
that rocks.
That is
Now,
fun.
that rocks.
That's great.
Do that for an hour and a half.
Yes,
I would have just
yes.
rather watched
At
the
the
grabber
very
skate
end.
around.
The movie understood how dumb it was and leaned into
And
it,
I was like,
and
finally.
it was
Also,
great.
Brett, sorry to just like steamroll, but like
Steamroll
another
away.
Black Phone thing is like
Snowplow away.
here's the thing with Black Phone too. It's like 45 minutes. I'm like, da-da-da. Hey, where's the fucking grabber?
Yeah.
Hey, anybody want to put the grabber in this movie? Do you know what? Like this is like, it's like on the poster. It's like Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, he has a cup of coffee. He does one scene in this.
Way too
he
much.
Does
Way
one
too much
scene.
with the kids.
The grabber's one
Way
scene.
too much with the kids.
The kids are not good. Their story is not interesting and impactful. The Christianity feint, which is Derrickson's only move. He's like, I came from Christianity and it still haunts me this day. It's like, you're fine.
Yeah.
You just went to church regular, bitch. You didn't have any fucking
Thank
trust.
you.
You
Thank
just went
you.
to church regular.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're talking about. You're fine. It wasn't that bad. You had Cheerios. You shut the fuck up. You did fucking reconciliation. You're good.
You're fine.
You're fine, Scott.
You're fine.
Anyway, Brett, another thing I hate about Derrickson is like total lack of creativity with the camera. This is a ghost story. This is a ghost
I
story.
didn't even think about the camera once.
This is a ghost story. Now, Patreon members for Movies Baby will know that I've been watching some Japanese ghost stories recently. Now, I'm not going to compare every single movie. Like, why wasn't that fucking as good as Onibaba? Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. Right. But I did watch like 15 movies in a row, some of great repute and some of like forgottenness, where they're able to utilize a camera to make tension happen, to make a ghost feel a little tiny bit scary.
Yeah,
all the way up to insanely scary. Not a single frame of this is scary. This guy does this every single scene. And it's like worse than film school. At film school, they'd try something because they're all pretentious shitheads. Derrickson's a coward. He just puts the camera there, establishing, and then it's like medium, 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 medium. Do you see the blocking in this movie? The blocking is abhorrent. There are 4 people in frame standing there. On one shot, they're like all like smushed in the middle of the frame in some sort of like bad diamond, and then cuts to a boring medium. Soft, soft, soft. No sense of place. And I blame Jason Blum. I get it. You're the cheap guy. This movie, how much does this movie cost? This wasn't that cheap.
What do we say, though?
They could afford some fucking...
What do we say, though?
Plates and cups and clocks and hats. Scott Derrickson's
and to your point, sorry, real quick, to your point, what do we always say? Composition don't cost a thing, baby. Composition is free.
Free.
Composition
and ghosts are invisible. You just put the camera there good enough, it's scary. Okay, this guy watched Skinamarink on an airplane, and he was like, got it. Seriously, he was like, got it. Maybe he watched the first 20 minutes. He was like, I got it. And then he's just like doing like shit Skinamarink. Horrible pans. So stupid.
And when they finally reveal the grabber, it's that shot from the trailer where it's just sort of the dark part of the cafeteria, and then the grabber just sort of comes out of the darkness and is like, here I am.
Which is like, the beginning of something.
But it's just they don't not scary. There's no dread, there's no fear, there's no use of space or absence or negative space or anything. All of the sort of, it's like all of the tropes of horror without any of the sort of skill of a horror director. It's like yes, these are all the sort of, this is all the stuff of horror that you have jammed into this movie and overstuffed this movie with, but you have none of the feel of horror. You have none of the knack of horror.
And none of the and you just can get scary with just composition is free with blocking. Like,
yes,
here's the frame. There's a bunk bed over there. Let's put all 3 of them on the bunk bed over there mishmashed. It's like, that doesn't look good at all. Yeah. And there was one scene when like the head of the camp was like talking to the children in the church. We should do like a scene study
of Black Phone 2.
A Black Phone 2, and it's called a scene study, like what not to do with blocking. We'll like do this, and then we'll watch like a scene from like High and Low or something.
Great idea.
Because there's a scene in the church where like he's standing, downstage center of the chapel, and there's 3 people there, and then 2 people there, and then watch their bodies move completely like uninspiredly. Like they're moving for different camera shots. It's ugly. The acting's terrible. The writing is like completely devoid of reality or emotion. It's just really ugly stuff. Derrickson is always going on and on about how he's from Colorado. All his movies are in Colorado. This movie has no sense of place. And like I just said, I blame Blum. You can spend a little bit of money on plates and cups and hats and shit, because your movies look like they're from nowhere. They look like the cheapest
because it's the most green screened version of the Colorado Rockies you've ever seen in your life.
So ugly.
There's a point where
green screen
the big
nightmare.
Sort of like frozen lake sequence at the end, which is the climactic sequence, is just, when you watch something and it's like you see them on a green screen. I'm not even seeing them in the place. I'm just seeing them on a green screen because it has that that
you can
weird
see the bottom
sort
of the line with the
day
green
for
screen.
night color treatment, but it's not great. And so it's like, it's the whole thing looks cheap. It has no sense of place, which makes you wonder, like, why are we going? Because there is a tradition of horror sequels being like, what the fuck do we do next? Let's put them in a different location. And there's examples of that I love. I love I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, where they just did the first movie, but they did it in the Caribbean, and the buy-in was so simple. They win a contest on the radio. We're all going to fucking Jamaica, baby. I love that. And then you just do the movie in Jamaica. It's so fun. This, though, once again, they are implying that there's real deep thematic reasons that we're going to this location, and it's like
no trauma detected. And you obviously haven't been abducted by a fucking serial killer.
Yes.
Because this movie otherwise would have been scary.
Don't trick me. Don't tell me like we're doing themes. Themes are happening, and then not pay
it's
them
all
off, not
tricks.
do
It's
them.
all
It's like
tricks. It's all
I'm
feints.
watching the movie. Okay, I'm not just gonna get tricked in that we're doing a theme if we're not actually doing the theme. Like you need to do it. There needs to be nuance. There needs to be character. There needs to be development. There needs to be this and that. There needs to be fucking good blocking. Composition all works together.
Like
it
blocking
all works
easy.
together.
You just like does why would the character stand up right there? That's all. Or I want to ask Robert Cargill, hey, wait, why did he stand up? There's fucking zero
no
reason for that guy
There's
to
no
stand
reason.
up.
And it makes for an awkward shot.
Can I,
Meanwhile, you
yeah,
give Kurosawa 6 people in an apartment, and he makes a fucking Renaissance painting. And I don't want to compare Scott Derrickson to Akira Kurosawa, but still,
They're not the
why
same.
why can't you do that?
but
Just watch
they're
High
not
and
the
Low and
same.
do the
Just
same thing.
Copy it.
Just copy it. You
Just
copy
fucking
everything else.
copy it.
You copy everything else. You copy incidentals, but you don't copy like the essence. Like the things that you were allowed to copy and not even copy, be inspired by. Kurosawa's blocking. You can copy that.
How about his?
That's like a
how about-
positive. That's like the lineage of film.
Brett, how about you don't even need to go that far back. How about your current horror contemporaries? When Sinister came out, like James Wan was doing The Conjuring, and Insidious was like right around that 3-year era. As those are all the same stories. It's childhood taken away, and then Act 3 we're going to do fun ghosts. Why does Derrickson suck and pale so much in comparison? Why are all the scares in Derrickson so facile compared to Wan? Or and why is his child Act 3 time to go into Fantasyland ghost story stuff so bullshit compared to Insidious? I think this guy he's just a B tier talent. He's a middling talent. His movies are so bad. Like I don't even feel like I'm dunking on him because he's got everything he could ever want. He's got good friends, like Cargill.
Got everything.
He's got Ethan Hawke in his movies. Now can I finish up my little our little spiel? Can we talk about Hawke for a second?
Please, let's talk about Hawke.
Hawke is a fucking national treasure.
We
in
love
my
Ethan
opinion.
Hawke.
From the Before trilogy to what is he in Training Day to fucking every fucking movie.
He's great for movies.
And First Reformed, incredible.
He's been around forever. He
He's
was
been
in
around
Dead Poet Society as a kid.
That's right. So I fucking love Ethan Hawke.
Voyagers, even younger kid.
So I just to focus on his relationship with Blum and Derrickson. So his first Blum partnership was on The Purge, where he plays like a dad who is pretending to be like a good guy, but of course is the secret. Like he opened the door for The Purge essentially with his shitty security features. Then they worked together again with Blum and Derrickson for the first time when they did Sinister together. And again, he's like a true crime writer, but he's also a piece of shit who's lying to his family the whole entire time. And again, Hawke is this like vessel to the bad. He sort of like opens the door to let the bad in. Then in The Black Phone, he is made bad material, and then in Black Phone 2 he's made like the spirit of bad. I just think it's kind of sad. I think it kind of is like a little bit of a Jason Blum parallel there, and I think that Blum in Blumhouse might be just like a little bit of a memory now, much like The Grabber in Black Phone 2.
Wow. There it is. I think it might be time to give an in memoriam for Blumhouse Productions. Nothing gold can stay, and that's fine. That's history of the movies.
Blum just said like 3 weeks ago in Hollywood Reporter, Variety, whatever. He's like, I hate making big studio movies. They've fucking sucked for years. I gotta shake it up. He knows.
Okay, he knows.
Fucking he knows.
He knows.
He's our guy.
He literally.
So I love this man.
I will say this to his credit.
I love this man.
He's very self-aware. He's always ahead of the curve. When we were trashing Megan 2.0, I didn't even have time to post the clip before Jason Blum had already said everything that we said. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to post the clip.
He's a smart.
I'm not going to post the clip. Let it be known. If you beat us to the punch with criticism, with self-criticism, we won't post the clip. We won't post the clip, okay?
So no, he's nothing but honest. But I just mean like the glory days of Blumhouse are well behind us. This is like 17 stinkers in a row.
Yeah.
And I just like whatever they're doing over there isn't really like working for me anymore. And it all feels safe. It all feels flat. It all feels ready for Netflix.
This is a
and I'm done
challenge,
with it.
Jason. This is a challenge, okay? This is a challenge.
it's all love,
Go
man.
back into your toolbox, figure something out,
all love.
rediscover that magic. I also said Voyagers. I was talking about the movie Explorers, which was Ethan Hawke's very first movie as a child. Explorers.
Okay, what's
What was it?
Voyagers? Is that the Jennifer Lawrence?
Is that the one where Chris Pratt cheated on
that's-
Anna Faris? No, that's Passengers.
Passengers.
Voyagers is, I don't know, something nothing.
Wait, did Chris Pratt-
Explorers was a Joe Dante movie. It was Ethan Hawke's first movie, and also and River Phoenix's first
What?
movie.
I've never seen.
Yep, yeah, it's
and
a-
Joe Dante? That sounds
It's
great.
a little kid sort of
never
explore.
mind.
You know, it's
I don't
it's
like it.
fun,
I don't
it's
like it.
fun.
I'm kidding. But anyway, so Brett, how many stars are you giving to Black Phone 2?
I mean, after talking about it, I wrote down 2.5 here. That seems way too
There's
high.
2.5.
Well, I love those skates. I love when
They
he
were
skates
awesome.
in. And I love it because it's never established that he was like good at hockey or figure skating or anything like that.
They even talk about like Wild Bill was at the camp.
I know.
He taught at the camp.
I
And
know.
that's why he's here. But they weren't like, and he was the ice skating instructor.
It would have been
No,
one
no,
line.
no, no,
One
no.
line. They did, however, go to a lot of work in the first movie to establish him as a magician, and then never pay off the fact that he's a magician ever.
The greatest magic act of all, he didn't die. But they didn't do that.
You know what I mean? If he's gonna be a magician, he's got to like what's
One more thing.
yeah.
You're at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Careful.
End of the segment.
End of the segment.
Joe thinks that if he's not here, the show's not happening.
No. Yeah, right. That's right. I see you with your fucking transcoded villains, you fuckers. It's not. It's fucking nonstop
You're saying
now.
Silence of the Lambs is saying the Buffalo Bill all over again?
Buffalo Bill, that was an isolated incident. These days, when the only thing people know about is transgenderism in Epstein Island, you're going to make like a long legs, weapons, black phone, fucking over and over again, like heavily make-up people trying to change this. I just like, what is this? What is this?
Yes.
All right, enough of that.
Yeah.
What is this?
I like that.
What is this?
I like that. Yeah.
Why is all the villains like this?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Ask yourself.
And meanwhile, in real life, you know what the grabber looks like? Have you seen pictures of John Wayne Gacy and the BTK killer? That's what fucking the grabber looks
I don't know
like.
why his face is caked in that white
I know.
paint.
Why do that? They look
he
like
has a mask. Why is he going to cake his face in white paint?
Yeah.
All right, whatever. I get to like hide. That's what the mask for. I guess the mask's for the basement. Not a good movie. Brett, I'm giving this bad boy 1.5 stars. The movie is very bad.
That's very bad according to our rating system.
Very
All right,
bad.
so 2.5 is all right. 2 is bad. 1.5 very bad. 1 terrible. I did love those little flesh skates.
Maybe terrible is apt. I was thinking 1 last night. I gave it a half star for that, but maybe I'm already giving it a 1.
It's definitely,
Nah,
not,
one-
it's definitely not all right.
Well,
I got to go lower
It's
than
1.5 because like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like obviously like very little credit. Like they tried to do something fun. They like
I don't think they tried to do something
they
fun.
thought about it's like he's dead. Instead of doing an origin story or instead of him not
Yeah,
being dead,
right.
let's put him in dreams and make him Freddy. Like and let's put him in the snow. It's like they had like 2 good meetings about the movie
Yeah, okay.
where they were like feeling good about it.
Well, that sounds like 2 stars then. 1 for each meeting.
1.5 stars, very bad.
I'm gonna give it 2. It was
What?
bad. It was bad. It was bad, but I'm not going very bad.
Bad.
Hey,
Hey, 1.5 stars. That was awesome.
and then that teenager just beats his head into the ice. The most violent teenager. I give it. Here's
all like get on board with the fact that he's like invisible and in her dreams, and you can beat him up. Like they all like immediately
Oh no, that's
on
part
board
of the
with
bad
the circumstances.
Part. None of
Like,
that's getting a
it
star.
is so bad.
Here's what's getting a star. 1 star for the flesh skates. 1 star for how violent the teenagers are in this entire franchise. Those are my 2 stars. Those are my 2 stars.
Fair enough.
These kid, I would. If I went to that school, I would live in fear
It's
of
not
my.
like, but you wouldn't just get kicked out of school. You get sent to jail if you beat up a person like that.
If you beat up, there's like 3 fights across these 2 movies.
They beat them. Yeah.
If one of these fights happened in your neighborhood, it would be front page news. It would be front page news.
In Black Phone 1, the kid that plays little Danny McBride in Gemstones beats his kid's face so much that it's like mashed potatoes.
No,
on
it
the
is.
floor.
It is. It's like
it's fucking insane.
It's like when they beat the guy up in the bar in Goodfellas.
It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy. They cave his head in.
They do.
In the playground.
And then they're like,
then they all go back to
then
school.
they're like in like second period in the bathroom having another fight.
Yes.
Anyway,
this is all. This is what people who grew up in the 70s always tell us. And maybe they were right. I don't know. The people who grew up in the 70s want to act like it was just this like lawless. Oh, you don't even know. Our parents didn't pay attention to us, and we beat the shit out of each other every day. Did you though? Did you really?
Maybe a little bit.
Is that how you lived?
Maybe a smidge. But also maybe it's all nostalgia peddling, like nostalgia for the rampant and open abuse we could all impose on each other. I don't like the Derrickson movies. They have a very like nasty broadness.
They also aren't as committed to their themes as they would pretend to be. I mean, we talked about in the first one how like visceral and immediate and real that scene of abuse is, and it comes very early in the movie, early enough that you're like, oh wow, this movie might be really good,
and you already know like the poster, you're like, this is gonna be scary as fuck.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And this is one of those movies you remember that we were hearing about it months before it came out.
This is scary.
It was like
it's not scary.
Longlegs thing. It was like, this is so scary. This is the scariest movie I've ever seen. What are you talking about?
Really not.
What are you talking about? I've given up on film criticism.
first-
besides this show, film criticism now is too intertwined with film marketing, and I cannot separate them. I
know
cannot
what you
pull
mean.
them apart. In this era where the Hollywood Reporter and Variety and IndieWire are all owned by the same company that owns the Golden Globes, and when film marketing companies are paying for like influencers to pretend that they're reviewing the movies really, but it's sponsored content. In this era, I do not believe film criticism anymore unless it comes from this show right here, Movies Baby with 5 Ys, because nobody gives us any money at all. They wouldn't dare. We don't get a dime
our
except for
loyal
our
listeners.
loyal
We
Patreon
love
subscribers,
you.
and that's the way it will always be. You will
Yeah.
never see us do sponsored content. They're not asking. It's like Mark Maron on the
They're
Riyadh
not-
Comedy
they're not
Festival.
asking.
It's easy to not sell out when no one's asking you to,
Yeah.
but we're still not.
But we're not
still
selling out.
not selling out.
Not selling out.
Still not selling out.
We'll let you know when we do.
Yeah, we will tell you when we do. We'll tell
say,
you when we do.
We're selling out. Go see, Osgood Perkins' new movie, Fucker.
It's so scary.
Starring the trans
It's so
warlock.
scary. All right, there you have it. Black Phone 2, not a good movie. But don't lose faith, people. Don't lose faith. It's very easy to lose faith in the movies these days. When you look at just the box office and it's just Black Phone 2 followed by Tron Ares, followed by Good Fortune. Good Fortune might be good. I haven't seen it. It's easy to lose faith these days. But don't lose faith. Because Black Phone 2 was not the only movie that I saw this weekend. I also saw 2 stone cold bangers, and I cannot wait to tell you about them. The first one is Kelly Reichardt's The Mastermind. Now, if you watch this show, you probably know who Kelly Reichardt is. The Indio tour responsible for such slow cinema classics as First Cow, Certain Women, Showing Up, Wendy and Lucy. I love Kelly Reichardt. I love Kelly Reichardt because she challenges our preconceptions about what so-called slow cinema can accomplish. And this is a genre, slow cinema. It's the genre of long takes, sparse dialogue, naturalistic pacing. It's the cinema of patience. But in the hands of a slow cinema master, your Chantal Akermans, your Kelly Reichardts, their patience does not preclude a certain type of cinematic power. Just because they're taking their time, just because they're patient, just because they're being slow, does not mean that their movies don't pack a frickin' wallop. Because when Kelly Reichardt is on her A game, and she usually is, her movies are full of dramatic tension and meaning and power, despite the slow cinema of it all, or perhaps because of the slow cinema of it all. Because in Kelly Reichardt's hands, slow cinema amplifies cinematic tension, amplifies cinematic power. The patience of Kelly Reichardt reveals new forms of expression, new ways that movies can mean something. And her gut punches, when you get a Kelly Reichardt gut punch, it's all the more powerful because of how naturally and unexpectedly it arose. I love Kelly Reichardt, and so you better believe I had my tickets first day, first screening for The Mastermind, starring Josh O'Connor, who I loved in La Chimera. Alana Haim is in here. Alana Haim, the youngest of the Haim sisters, at least the Haim sisters we know about. There might be a Cooper Manning in there somewhere, a Zeppo Marx of the Haim sisters that we're not aware of. We've also got John Magaro, of course, because I think it said this on the poster for The Mastermind. It ain't Reichardt if it ain't got Magaro. Gabby Hoffman is in this with the most Massachusetts hippie hairdo ever captured on screen. She's crushing. Bill Camp, the great Bill Camp, and the great Hope Davis. Love seeing Hope Davis in a movie. Director of photography here is Kelly Reichardt's frequent collaborator, Christopher Blovelt. Blovelt sounds like a Bond villain. But nope, just a great cinematographer. And this movie, The Mastermind, is based on the true story of an art theft that happened at the Worcester Art Museum in Massachusetts in 1972. But what it's really about is this Massachusetts suburban fail son played by Josh O'Connor. He's the son of a local judge. He flunked out of art school. He thinks he's a genius, but he really just walks around pissing everybody in his life off over and over and over again as he searches for purpose. What's my purpose? And he thinks he's found his purpose at last in this plan to steal 4 paintings from a local museum, but of course it doesn't go as planned. The Mastermind is a slow cinema heist movie. An amazing sentence and something only Kelly Reichardt would think to attempt. And good news, she frickin' nailed it. I really, really liked The Mastermind. In large part, I liked it because it outsmarted me. This movie outsmarted me. I'm just going to come out and admit it. It made a fool out of me, in fact. Because there was a point in this movie, and I'm just being completely honest with you. There was a point in The Mastermind where I started asking myself, is the slow cinema a little too slow this time? Did Kelly finally find the point where she's actually not quite doing enough? Is this the one where it's like, the patience isn't paying off? I had those thoughts, those moronic thoughts during this movie, and I'm just being honest with you. Is there anything here? I found myself thinking in the bowels of my dumb brain. Because, like the mastermind that she is, Reichardt revealed to me the full scope of this movie with an incredible ending sequence. And I then said, still in my brain, I'm not talking out loud in the theater, I said, oh, my bad. I'm so sorry that I ever doubted you. I just didn't quite see what you were up to here. I didn't quite know what this movie was. And now that I see it in full, that was really good. That was great, in fact. Another great Kelly Reichardt movie. And I want to be clear, this is not a case of bad movie, great ending. This is not one of those TV shows where your friends are begging you to stick with it because it gets really good at episode 13. That's not what this is. This is a case of you don't know what the movie even is until the ending. You don't know what it all adds up to until the ending. And then when you see it in full, you start going backwards in your mind over things, and things start clicking, and little patterns start emerging, and the themes rise to the surface, and you see the master plan of it all. Because the mastermind, and I'm not going to give away really anything here, but I do want to talk about this movie. Because the mastermind isn't about art theft. Not really. It's about that little echo of manifest destiny that festers inside of every American, and particularly every American man. That sick little fantasy that we harbor, that we're the main character of our own great American novel. This movie is about our inability to see ourselves as the antagonist of that novel. We're always the hero of that novel in our heads, no matter how much evidence there is to the contrary. In this movie, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. The Mastermind is about our stubborn insistence that we're good, that we're destined for greatness, no matter how much of a bag of shit we actually are in real life. And in that sense, the Mastermind, ever so subtly, without forcing it, without being obvious with it, but ever so subtly, echoes our current situation in this country. It echoes of 2025. It echoes of the manosphere and male fragility. And I kind of hate saying that because it ever so slightly cheapens this movie, which is just such a beautiful gem of a movie. But it also I don't know. It also enhances the meaning of the movie to feel it echoing over the decades. It's set in the 70s. To feel it echoing ever so slightly is a testament to Reichardt's skill as a director. Echoing in the most artful way possible. But at the end of the day, it just tells its story. It's not trying to force any parallels. The parallels are just there naturally because the story is so well told. And that's what I love at the end of the day. That's what I love most about Kelly Reichardt, is her confidence as a director. She is not afraid of the audience's attention span. She is not afraid, like so many directors these days, that she's not doing enough, that she needs to do more. She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows she's got a gut punch ending in store. She knows you'll catch up, you'll figure it out, you'll see the whole thing, and then you'll get it. And that's why she'll be remembered as one of the great American filmmakers of the 21st century. All of those skills, all of her, every little trick in Kelly Reichardt's bag is on display here in The Mastermind. Great movie. I gave it 4 stars. Great movie. But as great as The Mastermind was, and it was great, it was not the best new movie I saw this weekend. Believe it or not. Because that honor goes to Jafar Panahi's Palme d'Or winner, It Was Just an Accident. Now look, before I talk about the movie, I just have to say this. And y'all know I hate to toot my own horn. I don't, when I'm right about the movies, and I am often right about the movies, I try to keep it to myself. I try to be dignified and humble. But it does need to be said that I predicted, you can go back and check the tape on this show, I predicted that Jafar Panahi would win the Palme d'Or a month before the Cannes Film Festival started earlier this year. And I know they call Tom Quinn, the head of Neon, they call Tom Quinn the Palme d'Oracle because Neon has distributed the last 6 Palme d'Or winners. And sure, that sounds amazing, and it is. But all that means is that Mr. Quinn rolls up to the Riviera every year with his checkbook and buys the movie that everyone says is going to win the Palme 2 days before it wins the Palme. So I ask you, if that makes him the Palme d'Oracle, what does that make me, the guy who picked the winner 4 weeks before the festival even started? Before anybody had even seen the movie, based solely on the 6th sense that has accrued over a lifetime of loving the movies and watching them obsessively. What does that make me? What's my nickname? YouTube viewers, Patreon subscribers, in the comments, what should my nickname be? If Tom Quinn's the Palme d'Oracle, because he just rolls up to the French Riviera with a wine hangover and says, "All right, team, which one are we buying this year? Which one is it?" Well, everyone's saying It Was Just an Accident is probably the clear front. But buy it! I don't care what it is. Buy that one. I'm the Palme d'Oracle. I never lose. What does that make me? What am I? And again, I am really not trying to toot my own horn here. But I do have the best cinematic instincts of my generation. Check the tape, people. Just check the tape. It's a secret I'm going to carry to my grave. I know it. You know it. Nobody else needs to know it. They don't deserve to know it. It Was Just an Accident is so fucking good. It is so good. And I know it's still early. But people, this is the best movie I've seen this year. This is better than One Battle After Another. This is even better than Jia Zhengku's Caught by the Tides, which is also a masterpiece. Jafar Panahi's It Was Just an Accident is the best movie. It's the best movie I've seen this year. And you should see it at the first possible opportunity. Jafar Panahi is one of the great Iranian directors of his generation. Put him alongside Abbas Kiarostami, Asghar Farhadi, director of A Separation, Mohammad Rasouleff, who directed last year's excellent Seed of the Sacred Fig, And like his contemporaries, Panahi's movies are extremely critical of the Iranian regime, and because of that, he personally has lived his entire life under attack from that regime, and his movies are always walking a tightrope of, will they even come out? Will he even get them made? Or will the regime stamp down its iron boot upon the filmmaking process and prevent these movies from coming out? It's always a tightrope for Iranian directors. Will I be able to get my movie made? Will I be able to film in secret, ship the reels out to another country, escape the country through some back channel, edit the movie, get international distribution and financing? It's amazing these movies are as good as they are under those circumstances. Amazing. This generation of Iranian filmmakers will not only go down as one of the great all-time generation of filmmakers, up there with the Japanese Golden Age, Italian neo-realism, New Hollywood. This generation of Iranian filmmakers, it's one of the great generations of filmmakers ever, just on the films alone. And then beyond that, it is bar none, the most politically courageous era of filmmakers in movie history. The shit that these guys have been through to get their movies made. And then to have those movies be so incisive about the very regime that is trying to censor them. It's just remarkable. It's remarkable. It should be so much more of an event every time these movies hit theaters. It should be so much more of an event. And I'm urging you to go see this movie as soon as you can. As soon as you can. Jafar Panahi was arrested in 2022. 2022, just a couple years ago. He was arrested while trying to advocate for Mohammad Rasulov, who was in the middle of trying to make The Seed of the Sacred Fig. A movie that he ultimately had to escape into exile to get finished. Panahi was detained for 7 months, and he even went on a hunger strike, at which point he was released due to international pressure and international outrage. But this guy went to bat for his colleague, Mohammad Rasulov, was detained for 7 months. No charges, just detained. And then went on a hunger strike. That's a whole nother fucking level of filmmaking. And that arrest sums up Panahi's whole career in Iran. The government does their best to prevent him from working, from finishing his movies, and yet he keeps just reeling off masterpieces, no matter what it takes. No matter what it takes. And It Was Just an Accident is immediately on first watch one of the masterworks of contemporary Iranian cinema. This movie is so good. And it's a simple movie on its surface. If Seed of the Sacred Fig was a novel about the Iranian regime, this is a short story. One of the best short stories you've ever read. It Was Just an Accident. It's about a former political prisoner who now works as an auto mechanic. And this guy who has literally, his back is fucked up because he was tortured by the regime. He lost everything. He lost his wife. He lost his old career. His life was ruined by this fascist political regime. And he's now working as an auto mechanic, and through a random accident, he comes across and then kidnaps the man who was responsible for torturing him for information when he was a prisoner. And it turns out that this very intelligence officer, who's known as Peg Leg because he has a prosthetic leg, was such a notorious torturer that there are all these other political prisoners out there who also want revenge on this guy. And after this mechanic kidnaps Peg Leg, he then has to team up and find several of these other political prisoners in order to confirm the identity of this guy, because he doesn't want to kill an innocent man. And this man is saying, "You have got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy." And this auto mechanic then goes around and puts a little team together, puts a little Avengers squad together of former Iranian political prisoners in an effort to positively identify this guy before executing him for his crimes. And among this ragtag group of people that assemble, 2 of them are about to get married. Literally, one of them is in a wedding dress and about to get married the next day. And together, this group has to come to terms with this person they've kidnapped. Who is this person? Is this the man that ruined our lives? They were all blindfolded while they were political prisoners. And the only clue they have to go on is the sound of this guy's prosthetic leg when it walks. And that's the sound that cued off the auto mechanic. But is that sound enough? Is this really the guy? How sure do we have to be to kill him? Even if we're 99.9% sure, is that enough? Is that enough? And if we don't kill him, what do we do with him? What do we do now? How do we resolve this situation? It's one of the all-time great, how do we resolve this situation movies that I've ever seen. And ultimately, it wrestles with this moral dilemma with incredible profoundness, and yet without any resolution. Because this movie is about what separates fascists from anti-fascists. What is different about them at heart? What separates them? Why are they different? And at an even deeper level, and this is where the movie really, really dug its claws into me. This movie is about how being good and being right is no guarantee that you'll ever be happy. And in that sense, it really speaks and seems to come from the experiences of Jafar Panahi and his generation of filmmakers in Iran, whose integrity and artistry have been the cause of so much misery for them in their lives. But this movie's not pessimistic either. Not exactly. It's not saying that it's not worth it to be good. It's just saying, here's what you're in store for if you are in this world that we live in. Here's the reality of it. But the very fact that that reality is coming to you through this movie is also a message to keep going, to persevere. Because for Jafar Panahi, he couldn't make these movies without the misery he's experienced. He couldn't make these movies without the detainment and the harassment and the oppression and the torture. It's a realistic movie without an ounce of sentimentality. And your body is just covered in chills at the ending. Such a good movie. Such a good movie. 5 stars, masterpiece. Best movie of the year. See you as soon as you can. Next week on the show. Oh, baby, if you love Bohemian Rhapsody, if you love Rocket Man, if you love Walk the Line, if you love Ray, then you're in luck, because Hollywood has a new biopic for you about a famous musician. And this movie just screams, please give this actor an Oscar, please. He tried so hard to be like the guy. Isn't he really, really like the guy? Please give him an Oscar, please, please, please. The movie I'm talking about is Deliver Me From Nowhere. Sorry, Springsteen: Deliver Me From Nowhere. And the Oscar bait role is, of course, played by Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. Bear as the boss. Jeremy Allen White trades in his apron for a plaid shirt and says things in the trailer like, I gotta write something real. This label wants a single, huh? Well, give 'em this single. A single middle finger. 'Cause I'm the boss. And I'm making Nebraska. That's what it's about, right? The making of the album Nebraska. Who knows? Maybe it's good. Tune in next week to find out what we think and see it yourself to find out what you think. But before that, later this very day, in fact, we've got a brand new Weekend at Bergman's coming for you, baby. That's right. Weekend at Bergman's is back, but only on the Patreon. Sign up at patreon.com/moviesbaby with 5 Ys for our bonus show Weekend at Bergman's, where we pit a popcorn movie versus an art house movie that shares some kind of theme, and we have to be honest and we have to tell you which one we like better. And the one we like better will move on into competition with other movies that we also like, and the one that we did not like as much will go in what we call the trash canon, and we are never allowed to watch it for the rest of our lives. It's a high-stakes show. It's called Weekend at Bergman's, and our 1980 season rolls on with a hell of a matchup today. David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers, representing the art house, and Susan Seidelman's Desperately Seeking Susan, representing popcorn movies. I don't know. It doesn't. The dichotomy is not always as sharp as other weeks. Sometimes the line is blurred, and that's kind of the point of the whole fucking show, okay? Just watch it or listen to it. Only on Patreon. Patreon.com/moviesbaby with 5 Ys. Dead Ringers versus Desperately Seeking Susan. Later today. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you next week for more movies, because the movies never die. Unlike Bernie Lomax. Bye!